Pierre 2.0's ruthless move destroys Carney. Macron shocks France with new PM pick. The storm sweeping through Canada's political landscape has become impossible to ignore. In the aftermath of the April snap election, Mark Carney stepped into the Prime Minister's office with a reputation for calm, technical competence. Yet almost immediately, he found himself confronted by an unexpected force inside his own party, Pierre 2.0. This new figure, who embodies a stripped-down populist energy that resonates far beyond Parliament Hill, has launched a ruthless campaign to upend Carney's carefully managed image. The clash between Carney's deliberate pragmatism and Pierre 2.0's emotional urgency has left Canadians glued to every twist, as both men now battle for control of the nation's direction. And just as this drama unfolds at home, Emmanuel Macron has shocked France by announcing a surprise new prime minister, underscoring that across the democratic world political certainties are crumbling. Canada's economic reality has amplified the stakes. The country has been battered by U.S. tariffs, particularly on steel, aluminum, and agriculture, and economic growth has slowed to its weakest pace in years. The summer of 2025 brought news of GDP contraction and rising unemployment, with nearly 7% of the workforce now jobless. Household debt remains among the highest in the developed world, and the loonie has been trading at its lowest levels in months. For ordinary families, the pain is immediate. Grocery prices remain stubbornly high, mortgage renewals are crushing middle-class budgets, and younger Canadians despair at the possibility of home ownership. It is in this climate that Pierre 2.0's raw call for urgency resonates most. Carney has attempted to project steadiness. He announced a sweeping bi-Canadian plan designed to shield domestic producers from the storm of tariffs unleashed by Washington. He has promised to fast-track defense spending to meet NATO commitments, sought to invest in green infrastructure, and advance legislation aimed at eliminating outdated interprovincial trade barriers. His message is clear. Canada cannot control the decisions of Donald Trump's White House, but it can prepare itself to weather external shocks by strengthening internal unity. To Carney, leadership means steady hands on the wheel and an insistence on technocratic solutions even when the public mood demands drama. But Pierre 2.0 has identified the political vulnerability in that posture. He casts Carney as out of touch, a leader speaking in the language of spreadsheets while Canadians confront real anxiety at the kitchen table. He demands bolder responses, direct relief for struggling households, rapid reforms to housing and immigration policy, and a narrative that puts national pride ahead of bureaucratic caution. His ruthless move is not just to attack Carney from across the aisle, but to shake the ground beneath him inside the Liberal family itself. That audacity has already destroyed the sense of inevitability surrounding Carney's premiership. The backdrop of wildfires spreading across Western Canada has only intensified the sense of urgency. Thousands have been forced to evacuate communities in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta, while insurers report hundreds of millions in losses. Indigenous and rural communities bear the brunt of the devastation. In moments like this, Canadians look for leadership that feels immediate and empathetic. Carney has pledged federal resources, but Pierre 2.0 speaks in a language of solidarity that cuts deeper, calling for a national rebuilding effort that transcends partisanship. In times of crisis, tone can be as decisive as policy. Social cohesion remains fragile. A national survey earlier this year revealed that while many Canadians feel warm toward those with differing political views, polarization is growing. Nearly 3 in 10 say they feel disconnected from the political system altogether. Against this fragile backdrop, Carney's call for unity through structural reforms collides with Pierre 2.0's emotive insistence on urgency. It is not merely a clash of policies but of philosophies, one rooted in cautious incrementalism, the other in dramatic disruption. Meanwhile, Macron's decision to appoint a surprise new prime minister in France has thrown open the window to international comparisons. Just as the French president sought to reinvent his government, Canadians see a parallel in their own political drama. Macron's shock choice is being read as a gamble to seize momentum before discontent spirals, and the echoes in Ottawa are undeniable. The message to democracies everywhere is stark. The old playbooks are no longer sufficient in an era of restless electorates. Carney's defenders argue that Canada cannot afford reckless experiments. They point to the stability of its financial institutions, the strength of its democratic traditions, and the relative resilience of its economy compared with global peers. They warn that succumbing to the theatrics of populist waves may erode investor confidence and weaken the very foundations Carney has spent a career defending. To them, Pierre 2.0's rise is a dangerous flirtation with instability disguised as urgency. Yet Pierre 2.0's supporters counter that the stability Carney offers feels increasingly like stagnation. They argue that his reliance on technocratic fixes ignores the day-to-day struggles of ordinary Canadians and that a leader unwilling to match the intensity of public frustration will ultimately lose legitimacy. They praise his ability to connect emotionally where Carney cannot, insisting that Canada needs not only balance sheets, but also a renewed sense of purpose and courage. For them, his ruthless disruption is not destructive but necessary. What is clear is that Canadians are witnessing a political confrontation that transcends personalities. It is a test of whether the country's future will be defined by cautious technocracy or by populist reinvention. The choice is not easy. On one side stands Carney, the economist turned prime minister whose calm discipline reassures allies abroad. On the other stands Pierre 2.0, the insurgent demanding that politics feel urgent, real, and unapologetically Canadian. The parallels to Macron's gamble in France sharpen the drama. Democracies on both sides of the Atlantic are searching for leaders who can reinvent themselves fast enough to keep pace with discontent. Macron shocked France with a choice that signaled reinvention. Now Canada may face the same question. Is Carney capable of adjusting his approach to embrace urgency while retaining his discipline, or will Pierre 2.0's rise prove irresistible? In this pivotal moment, the nation feels suspended between two paths. It is not simply about destroying Carney or embracing Pierre 2.0. It is about whether Canada can craft a leadership style that fuses technical credibility with emotional resonance, pragmatism with urgency. The outcome will shape not only the country's immediate future, but also its place in a turbulent world. Canadians sense history pressing down on them, and the decision ahead will be as ruthless as the politics that brought them here.